Have you ever woken up at 4 a.m. to red and blue police lights bouncing off your bedroom walls because some woman named Marlene called 911, claiming your legally parked Jeep was committing a crime? No? Just me? Fantastic. Buckle up because this ride starts ridiculous and only gets wilder. There I was, wearing Pikachu pajama pants, drooling into my pillow, when everything changed. 1 minute I'm dreaming about tacos and the next I'm barefoot in my front yard trying to convince two very confused cops why an irate middle-aged woman was demanding they tow my Jeep from my own driveway. It all started like any other Thursday. I got home from work worn out, hungry, totally over it. My Jeep Wrangler Midnight Black, lifted, freshly detailed, was parked exactly where it always was, in the driveway of the house I've owned for 6 years. That Jeep's my baby. I've spent more money on her than I'm comfortable admitting in therapy. I nuked some leftover Thai food, played a couple too many rounds of Warzone, and passed out by midnight. What I didn't know was that 3 doors down, Marlene was preparing for suburban warfare over 4 feet of concrete. Apparently, she had a house full of guests, and to her, that meant the rest of us needed to move heaven and earth to provide parking. Her logic? Flimsy. Her entitlement? Rock solid. Now, Marlene was one of those HOA type, the self-declared queen of the cul-de-sac. Frosted blonde helmet hair, floral robe that belonged in 1998, and a voice like a weed whacker with a grudge. She'd already made passive-aggressive comments about my Jeep being too militaristic for the neighborhood aesthetic. I brushed it off, thought she was bored. Turns out, she was waiting for the perfect moment to pounce. That moment came at 4:07 a.m. She marched over in bedroom slippers, fists clenched, cheeks puffed, and banged on my door like she was collecting rent. I stumbled downstairs, dazed and blinking, and opened the door to a fury storm. "Move your Jeep!" she screamed, jabbing a finger like it owed her money. "My niece's fiancé's cousin can't park and I have a professional engagement this morning." Took me a full 10 seconds to even register what was happening. "Marlene, it's 4 in the morning. I don't care. Move it now or I'll have it towed." I laughed. Couldn't help it. Not to be disrespectful, but the idea of moving my legally parked Jeep for some half-drunk wedding guest to park like it's a Chili's was laughable. "I'm not moving it, Marlene," I said and started to close the door. "Fine. I'm calling 911. That made me pause. Surely she wasn't serious. Spoiler, she was very serious. I peeked through the blinds just in time to watch her pacing my front lawn, phone pressed to her ear, animated like a courtroom drama actress rehearsing closing arguments. "Yes, officer. It's an emergency. There's a vehicle blocking access." "Yes, it's in his driveway, but he's being uncooperative and refusing to comply with neighborhood policy." Neighborhood policy? What is this, The Hague? 15 minutes later, my house was lit up like a Christmas tree. 2 officers stepped out of their cruiser with a look that said, "We're definitely texting about this later." There I stood, in Pikachu pajama pants, holding instant coffee, trying to explain that yes, the Jeep was mine. Yes, the driveway was mine. And no, I wasn't hallucinating, this really was happening. Marlene met them halfway with a binder of printed HOA newsletters and a photo she'd snapped at 3:58 a.m. from her bedroom window, Exhibit A in the case of the sleepy Jeep. To their credit, the cops were calm. They told Marlene this wasn't a police matter and suggested she take it up with the HOA. She huffed, crossed her arms like she'd combust, and stormed off after muttering something about neighborhood decay. I waved goodbye to the officers, but before she disappeared, Marlene turned and pointed at me like a cartoon villain. "You'll regret this," she hissed. "Honestly, I thought that would be the end of it." Spoiler again. It was only the beginning. By 9 a.m., Marlene had already filed an HOA complaint, posted in the neighborhood Facebook group calling me hostile to community harmony, and requested a formal discussion about my ongoing violations at the next HOA board meeting. I hadn't even brushed my teeth yet. When I went out to check on the Jeep, I found a white envelope under the wiper. Inside was a typed letter on HOA letterhead and signed, but unmistakably scented with ego. "Dear homeowner, as a reminder, your vehicle must align with community parking standards. Continued disregard may result in board-level action." It was official. The war had begun. Not one with fists or weapons, but with signs, bylaws, and passive-aggressive lawn decor. The next morning, Ted, me neighbor across the street, was laughing as I stepped outside. Taped to my Jeep was another note, handwritten in angry chicken scratch. Final warning. You are in violation of community expectations. Your refusal to act with civility is being documented. Parking privileges may be reviewed. Parking privileges? On my own property? I waved to Ted, who shouted, "Need backup," and went back inside, already plotting. I grew up with 3 brothers. I knew how to fight petty with pettier. I went to the hardware store and bought the largest wooden board I could legally haul. Painted it white. Bold red letters. Private driveway not for Marlene's guests. In black, you block it, I box you in. I planted it proudly by the driveway like it was the neighborhood's new welcome sign. Within minutes, she stormed over. "You can't put that there." "Pretty sure I can," I sipped my tea. "Private property. It's a visual disturbance. It lowers neighborhood value. Maybe the cops showing up over a Jeep did that already." She stormed off, likely dialing reinforcements before she even cleared my grass. That day, flyers were stuffed into every mailbox. Comic Sans headline: "How one neighbor is destroying our peace." It featured a photo of my Jeep, my sign, and a dramatic paragraph accusing me of inflaming community values with aggressive symbols and vehicle hoarding. Rhonda, the retired teacher across the street, walked up holding the flyer. "Congratulations," she said. "You're officially Marlene's public enemy 1. That means she's scared of you." Later that night, Marlene returned fire with her own sign planted on the grassy strip between the street and sidewalk in front of my house. "Neighborhood safety first. Report reckless parking." It included a cartoon Jeep inside a red circle. The sign war had begun. I added solar lights to mine. She spray-painted hers neon yellow. I added a QR code that linked to a video of her 911 call. She duct-taped over it. I covered the duct tape with a sticker. "Censorship is un-American." And then things went digital. Marlene started posting in the Facebook group daily. Her posts read like rants from a Bond villain. "We cannot allow disorder to spread or our children will suffer." Someone replied with a gif of popcorn. They got banned. I stayed quiet. Mostly. Until someone knocked on my door just to take a selfie with the Jeep. I figured if I'm gonna be infamous, why not own it? That weekend, I threw a driveway dedication barbecue. Rhonda brought deviled eggs. My friend Mark made shirts, "Free the driveway." Karen called the cops again, claimed noise violation. Same cop showed up, rolled his eyes, and told us to keep it down. Then he grabbed a hot dog and left. But I started digging. No one could remember ever voting Marlene onto the HOA board. Doug, the previous board chair, had moved out suddenly after a zoning dispute with her. No election notices. No official appointment. I sent a few formal inquiries to the management company and Marlene. No replies. Then eggs appear perfectly cracked in my mailbox. Not random. Precise. That's when I knew it was personal. Eventually, I found the smoking gun and HOA reimbursement listed for event hospitality coordination paid to someone with Marlene's last name. I found a blurry photo in her post, a zoning official at her house. She was using HOA funds to host city reps for some secret project, maybe an Airbnb scheme, maybe worse. Then Rhonda texted me. "Secret HOA meeting, Marlene's house, 8 p.m. Bring popcorn." I snuck around back, sat under the open window, and recorded everything. The cherry on top? A board member asked if using funds like that was allowed. Marlene snapped, "Don't question the process." The next morning, I sent the recording to the HOA and every neighbor. 2 days later, emergency board meeting. The place was packed. Lawn chairs. Muffins. Ted brought popcorn. Phil raised his hand. We never voted Marlene onto the board. No records. She's been acting chair illegally. I stepped up. I have documentation, audio, and financial records. They played the tape. Marlene's voice filled the room. Her threats. Her power grabs. The silence after was deafening. Then applause. A motion was raised, suspend Marlene pending investigation. Passed. Overwhelmingly. Later, Marlene filed a civil complaint against me for defamation. We went to small claims court. I brought a USB. She brought delusion. The judge asked for proof. I played the 911 call. The judge sighed, dismissed the case, and added that sign was hilarious. Weeks later, peace returned. The Jeep stayed. The signs came down. People waved again. Kids played outside. They held a legitimate election. I wasn't going to run. Rhonda did it for me. Made buttons. Keep it parked with Dylan. I won 73% of the vote. We rewrote the HOA rules. No more sign drama. No more dictators. We held a driveway freedom barbecue. It was chaos and joy and healing. Jeep clubs came. Took photos. Honked. Cheered. Marlene? She vanished. Moved to a new neighborhood. Right next to Rhonda. Now that's justice. And me? I sit on my porch some nights with lemonade in hand, watching the sun dip low, my Jeep parked right where it belongs. Because sometimes the smallest hills like your own driveway are absolutely worth defending.